perception is reality. Or is it? How many times have you heard that phrase before and maybe took it the wrong way? It's missing a word. It should actually say, your perception is your reality, not somebody else's. The perception of others is the reality to them, not yours. You have your own perceptions, and that is your reality. And when you let others' perceptions become your reality, you start to lose a little bit of your own persona, your own personality. So hold on to that thought as we discuss today on how perception is your reality. Welcome to Flourish, where we explore how to nurture, coach, and inspire the next generation for success and let their genius thrive. I'm your coach, Diane Planadin, and today I really wanted to bring this to fruition about perception because there's been a lot of, a lot of crazy things going on in the world right now. And the fun thing about perception is really how unique it is to each and every one of us. It's individual like our fingerprint. And in order to really drive home the whole perception / reality, I wanted to share a poem with you. And that poem is called The Cookie Thief, which was written by Valerie Cox. And I think if you bear with me and listen to the whole poem, you're going to get a really good idea of what I mean by this. A woman was waiting at an airport one night, with several long hours before her flight. She hunted for a book in the airport shops, bought a bag of cookies, and found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book, but happened to see that the man sitting beside her, as bold as could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag in between, which she tried to ignore to avoid a scene. So she munched the cookies and watched the clock as the gutsy cookie thief diminished her stock. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking, if I wasn't so nice, I would blacken his eye. With each cookie she took, he took one too. When only one was left, she wondered what he would do. With a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, he took the last cookie and broke it in half. He offered her half as he ate the other. She snatched it from him and thought, oh brother, this guy has some nerve and he's also rude. Why, he didn't even show any gratitude. She had never known when she had been so galled and sighed with relief when her flight was called. She gathered her belongings and headed to the gate, refusing to look back at that thieving ingrate. She boarded the plane and sank in her seat. Then she sought her book, which was almost complete. As she reached in her baggage, she gasped with surprise. There was her bag of cookies in front of her eyes. If mine are here, she moaned in despair. The others were his, and he tried to share. Too late to apologize, she realized with grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate, the thief. Has that ever happened to you? You thought you were certain, you thought you were right. You thought you were right. That right there is your perception, which should not be confused with the facts. There's a lot of diving into that poem you can do, and you can really discover in it that your opinion is yours as well. However, as in the cookie thief scenario, that was not the case. It was not the truth. Her perception clouded her judgment. We are so quick to judge others, to think, we know what's going on in their lives. We know what's going on in their minds. We know what they are thinking. And we do this especially with children. I really wanted to emphasize that because we do not give them the benefit of the doubt. We think we know what they're up to. And sometimes we're right. But maybe just listen to them, Give them the benefit of understanding what their perception is, what their perspective is, how they are seeing things, how they react to things, why they do what they do. It can be quite fascinating. But I'm going to tell you, it takes practice and it takes patience. It takes practice and patience to understand others and change how you're thinking about them. Change how you are thinking about another person. How your judgment may simply be a first impression that needs some fine-tuning. You can really hone that skill. You really can. And I'm not talking about your intuition. I'm not talking about your gut instinct. That is tried and true. It tells you. You know whether you're doing something right or wrong. That's a little bit different. I'm talking about having a real conversation, a meaningful conversation with questions that will help you understand another person's perspective, and therefore their perception, and therefore how they perceive reality. Which is not the same as yours. It's not. But by doing this, you can put yourself in their shoes, you're in their shoes, and now you can empathize on a different level. When you empathize, you can realize the opinion is their own. It's not yours. It's their own. And that, I'm just going to say, that's a lot to digest in this little Tuesday tidbit of an episode. But you can listen to this episode a few times just to sort of grasp the big picture and grasp why perception is yours and your reality, and how it helps to understand the perceptions of others. So how about our cookie thief? Wow, how could have that situation been handled better? Can you think of your own scenario? Yeah, hindsight. That's exactly what it is. So, but in this poem, you can really feel it building. And you can really relate to the frustration. You can really feel the annoyance and the audaciousness of the thief. Like, how dare he? Come on, right? She was making it all up. She was making it up in her head. Because she wasn't having a conversation. No. She was forming an opinion. She was digging in deeper, digging in her heels. How dare he? That, on a sidebar, is also an excellent example of how we believe what we tell ourselves. The icing in this poem, it's really when the thief breaks the cookie. breaks the cookie in half, and hands the other half to her. That was a very grand gesture. That scenario could have gone completely different. And it's really too bad when she finally noticed that she'd made a big error. When she finally noticed that she did not have the opportunity to thank the thief for reminding her what kindness is all about. Yes, kindness still does exist out there. And that a simple, honest response in the form of 2 words could have remedied the situation and put her mind at ease. If she could only had the opportunity to say, my mistake. That's all it takes when you need to apologize. My mistake. And sometimes it takes a while for the other person to cool their jets if they too have been wrestling up a scenario in their mind that they started to believe. But if you can just stick with that, my mistake. Simple and done. It relieves not only the scenario being awkward, but it relieves pressure from yourself. Because now you've been accountable and now you can let go. And now you can share a giggle or two. And now you can share a cookie or two. And now maybe the poem ends in a meet cute. Wouldn't that be a fun scenario where they are all of a sudden, it's a film term, meet cute. It's where it's an amusing encounter between 2 people that leads to the development of a romantic relationship between them. This poem I really wanted you to hear today because her perception was a lesson learned the hard way. And I don't think it's a lesson she'll ever forget. So you have to work on it. You have to work on knowing yourself. You have to work on understanding others with an empathetic view. An empathetic view and a positive attitude. I mean, you could have had twice as many cookies there, right? And most of all, when you keep that communication open and you teach your children to keep communication flowing and you teach them this as early as possible, and by the way, it's a 2-way communication, it goes both ways, have an open mindset and you're trying new ways. That gives you a better way of learning how to view others, because you don't know what they're going through. You don't know what's going on in their minds. But the idea here is it could open some new doors. It could elevate some fresh ideas. Could really take you to the next level of doing a little self-analysis. Live well. Please remember, we're all born with a gift. We're all born with purpose. Life's journey is to hone and develop that gift. This purpose changes within. So as you're baking cookies this holiday season and you're maybe getting a little frustrated or discouraged or deflated because of what's going on in the world, remember the cookie thief. And remember how if you can change your perspective, change your idea that your perception is your reality and nobody else's. Your opinion is your opinion and no one else's. You will grow and learn and change and find the funny in the reality.